when those 2 times in church that I remember but very vividly. One was that my mother had tuberculosis, and she got very thin, and so the doctor wanted her to drink goat milk, and so we couldn't find any place to get it, but Daddy found a goat. And so he got it, and he would milk it, and in the mornings he'd take her around town or out in the country in the greater ditches where there was something for it to eat. And it got very, I think both of them, I think Daddy and the goat got quite attached to each other. And one Sunday, when it was real warm, there was a door on the side of the church that went up into the area where Daddy preached. And so he had that. He was in a hurry to get to church, so he didn't. He just left the goat staked outside of the church there, and where there was lots of good grass. And during the preaching, the goat heard Daddy's voice, and so it pulled its stake out of the ground. And then it followed until he got up into the church and up where Daddy was preaching. And he jumped up on Daddy and was licking his face and Daddy couldn't get him away. And so he told me, he says, Olivet, come and take this goat out. And so I did, finally. So just didn't want to go. But the congregation was laughing so hard, and Daddy was so rattled that he just asked someone to have to learn the benediction, and that was the end of church service that day. That was one thing I remember. And another time, I usually sat by my mother, but my girlfriends and that, they were about 3 or 4 my age, that were in church, and their mothers would let them sit together down in the front during church, during the preaching. And so I kept begging Mom to let me sit down there with her. So finally, she gave in. Well, I got down there with the girls, and I got to giggling and talking and not listening at all, and not being quiet. And so Daddy stopped preaching, and he says, Olivet, you come right up here. So I went up to him, and he says, now you sit on that chair, and you stay there till church is over. So I sat up there, and where I was, I had to sit up here and look out at the audience. And I thought they were really shaming me. And that was so embarrassing to me, and so I never did ask Mother to sit with those girls again. I stayed with her. I just couldn't handle it, I guess.
I think it's probably easier to be good with Mother than it is girls your own age.
Yeah, I think so. Although the other girls were behaving as I remember.
Were they a little older than you?
I don't think so. I think they were
Aha.
about
John?
You don't have very many of your family around, do you?
No. Afraid not. Since I only had 2 sisters, and one of them passed away, so all I've got's one sister. She has a partner, you know, like Diana there, but I appreciate her a whole lot. She's very nice and a good girl. And then I've got 2 nieces, a nephew, and maybe, let's see, about 6, 11, about 13 great nieces and nephews.
You remember
Is that
Ralph?
being recorded?
Yeah.
Is there one named Pat?
Yeah.
Do you remember Pat?
Yeah, he thought a lot of you too, which you can probably tell because he was pretty good to you, I think.
Oh, Ralphie came out that one summer. Ralph.
Yeah, that's the father.
Well, there's Big Ralph and Little Ralph.
Oh,
But Little Ralph came out with me and Michael one
And
year.
He was about Trevor's age, and they were probably about, well, let's see, I'd say about 15, 14 or 15, just before driving.
But there wasn't anybody else with us that trip.
No.
It was just the 3 of us.
Yep.
But he's got how many kids now?
6.
He's got 6 kids.
seems like one of them enjoyed the podcast.
Hello? This is Michael.